the Baltimore Ravens, a team that had high hopes last year and couldn't quite pull it off, falling short yet again. What tier did you have the Baltimore Ravens in?
The only team in this division I can truly see making the Super Bowl is the Baltimore Ravens. So they're in the tier 1, Bill Belichick to cheat or not to cheat, championship caliber teams. They don't really have a true weakness. A great quarterback, balanced offense, stellar defense. Everyone else in the division has some sort of issue when it comes to reaching the big game. The real storyline with this team will be health and finding a way to survive the gauntlet of a schedule that they have. The second most difficult in the NFL. They've played 10 teams that made the playoffs last year, not including Cincinnati, who is going to be better than they were last year if Joe Burrow stays healthy. So they projected second hardest schedule in the league. I think they're good enough to survive it, withhold it, as long as they stay healthy. I don't see any significant drop-off from last year.
Yeah, and Baltimore Ravens, I have them a little lower than you. I put them in tier 2. They're going to have an elite run game again, adding Derrick Henry. Zay Flowers is really good. He'll probably get better. They don't really have a ton of depth at receiver, though, which I think might hurt them a little bit. My biggest question for them is just, can they win in the playoffs? We've never really seen them be what we know they can be in the playoffs, and because of that, I see them more as a tier 2 team. But their over-unders at 11.5 wins, one of the highest in the NFL. Did you go over or under on that?
This one's a stay away for me because of how hard their schedule is. I think they're at 11 wins, 11, 12. The line's perfect. I can't argue. I mean, they know what they're doing in Vegas. So my pushback on what you had to say about this team is, yes, we haven't seen Baltimore make it out of the AFC, essentially, because they are 1 year removed from making the AFC title game just last season. But you have Buffalo as a title contender, right? I think Baltimore is a better team than they are. Yeah, they have a hard schedule. What's the deal there?
Yeah, the biggest
either
difference,
team has actually made it out of the AFC.
Yeah, the biggest difference I've just seen is in the playoffs, Josh Allen has been a playoff riser, and he kind of puts the team on his back and does everything. And Lamar Jackson hasn't been to that level yet. So I just think Josh Allen is better than Lamar Jackson, as we had on our QB rankings. I think that's the biggest difference. I know Lamar wants to win in Baltimore. I still think they just need more receiver help on that team too. Whereas they might have the worst receiver room in football, one of the worst, the Baltimore Ravens. And I know the Bills don't necessarily have the biggest of the big names, but I think also, they just have more spots to go, more guys to go who have the ball.
Well, I'd argue Baltimore has a better receiving room than Buffalo does. You got Mark Andrews, Zay Flowers. I think they have a better, well-rounded offensive scheme, being that they have more playmakers in general. It's really just going to be James Cook and Josh Allen, and then 3 no-names, which, again, if Josh Allen's the caliber quarterback that we make him out to be, that should be fine because, Patrick Mahomes last year had Travis Kelce, who really didn't show up to the playoffs, and Kadarius Toney. So, yeah, it shouldn't really matter, but I do think Baltimore has a better receiver room, if that's the argument, than Buffalo.
I mean, I think Zay Flowers is probably the best of the group, but the Bills, they drafted Keon Coleman. He's a rookie. We don't know what he'll do. I do like Curtis Samuel coming in for Buffalo. He was just kind of stuck with the Commanders, but he was a solid player overall. The Buffalo also has Dalton Kincaid, who I believe receiving-wise is going to have a big year, kind of him and Josh Allen connecting. So I really don't think, these teams might be a little closer than we thought in the receiving room, but I feel better about Josh Allen when it all comes down to it than I do Lamar Jackson.
I'm going to stand on this. I think Baltimore, if it's not Kansas City, is going to have the best record in the AFC. If nothing else, they are a fantastic regular season team that maybe underperforms in the playoffs. Can you blame them for losing to Kansas City? Because if you are, you got to blame everybody else. You know what I mean? So, That's why I have them in tier 1. There's got to be some other team outside of Kansas City in that tier. Otherwise, we just might as well not play the games, right? So I got Baltimore in tier 1. They're going to win a lot of football games, 11, 12. If they win 13, that would be a heck of an accomplishment with how difficult their schedule is.
Absolutely.
But I have that stamped
Cool.
as a Bill Belichick cheater.